We're live.
Okay, all right, I hereby call the Thursday, January 9th meeting of the Arcata Fire District, to order. Join me for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the board clerk, please call roll for attendance and determination of the quorum.
Director Maynard,
Here.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Mendoza,
Here.
Director Ladenslager,
Yes, here.
and Director Arcata.
Here.
We have a quorum.
So I'm going to call for approval of the agenda, but we are going to move a couple things around just to give everybody a little bit of a heads up. So do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
But wait,
Wait,
we're gonna move it, so we need to, we're gonna move it before we,
we're moving the closed session up.
okay, but we can't approve it until we know what we're doing, right?
All right, ready? Coming out swinging. My first meeting and you're already giving me a hard time. We're going to move the closed session up, but I think we could probably do it after public comment, or do you want to do it?
Either way.
Okay.
So the purpose of it is our legal has a scheduling conflict.
Yeah.
He has to
Take this.
be bumped up.
I always wish we could do them after, because I hate to have our audience waiting, but
Sure, and he acknowledged that. He realized we have an audience. So if we want to do public comment first, we could.
I think, yeah, let's do the public comment section first, and then we'll squeeze the closed session up before the consent calendar. So with that, is there an approval of the agenda?
I will move that we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
All right, so that takes us to the public comment and associated reports. Any person may address the district board on any subject for, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Throw eyes, it's like goodness.
Okay, so the motion was to move the closed session item after public comment, and the motion was made by Mendoza and Arcata seconded it. So, Director Maynard?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Director Mendoza?
Yes.
Director Ladenslager?
Yeah.
And Director Arcata.
Yes.
Okay, the motion carries.
All right, moving on to public comment and association reports. Any person may address the district board on any subject pertaining to district business which is not listed on the agenda. This comment is provided by the Ralph M. Brown Open Meeting Act and may be limited to 3 minutes for any person addressing the board. Any request that requires board action may be set by the board for a future agenda item or reference to staff.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Gary. I've been to these meetings before and I will probably be here again, but when I saw this was happening this week, I decided I'd come and share some things, not just specific about the recent fire we had downtown, although many of those businesses were places where I either worked or visited and was a customer, and had an awareness sometimes of a lot of the challenges of those businesses and the buildings they were operating out of. And today I also visited a couple of other businesses that I frequent and learned a little bit about some of the challenges. So I know this event will hopefully get us united to making sure these types of historic fires aren't so frequent and debilitating for the community. But I so totally appreciate the effort of this fire district and this department and all the others that came forward to help. And I also just know that a lot of new development will be coming up. And right after the fire, actually, I went out to the dormitories to just kind of meditate on those beautiful little rock benches they have out there and think about, you know, the challenges of the new and the modern, along with the old and the rotting buildings that we have in our community. So working together, I know that people still don't understand the fire district is separate from the city of Arcata. just because of the challenges of its name and all. So hopefully, sadly, events like this will kind of educate the community more, and you will get actually more buy-in from the community, because people really need to understand how vitally important it is to support our emergency personnel and services in the community. So I just kind of wanted to say thank you for being here and being open to people like me coming and asking questions, because it really is important for us to work together and communicate together, even if, you know, what I can contribute is merely, you know, my tax dollars in terms of subsidizing the services. But this is important, and hopefully we'll start considering how we design our entire community to be safer and saner for the future. That's going to be a really interesting one because of climate change. So just kind of wanted to say that out loud. I know a lot of other people probably feel the same way as I do. So thanks for letting me speak.
Thank you. Thank you. Our decision on that?
Good evening. So the change in meeting time, caught me off guard. You guys didn't get a report. Very sorry about that. I'll do better next time. Brief wrap up on Toys for Tots. After the distribution day, we received another 30 of those cardboard bins in donations. And I believe in the picture we had 12, so we almost tripled between that day and I believe they stopped accepting donations on the 22nd. So great job by Jay Sean. Really appreciated all of his efforts. 50 community partners to represent us and the local cause was huge. The other thing I would like to take the opportunity with recent events. We all know how great everybody that works here. We work with fantastic professionals. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that this was exceptional last week. Everybody involved, the community as a whole, got to see why the fire service profession nationwide is one of the most trusted and respected professions to get into. Very sorry that it did happen. But with the initial actions of the first 6 people that showed up, set up the scene to keep it to as relatively small as it could have been. So thank you to everybody involved, everybody that helped, and from our own organization and neighboring agencies. It was a great effort by everybody. Thank you.
That's good, no, better than snoring.
All right, and we have our Arcata Volunteer Firefighters Association.
I also forgot to send this. So I apologize as well as stuck up on me. But about 30 hours of volunteer time in December. I worked with Rod Cannon and on the Warren Creek Firewise Community application, which we got in time. So it's in for review right now. And as I mentioned last time, the Jacoby Big Firewise Community has been approved. So we got 2 going. We're going to try to get 1 more up on Pickle Hill sometime this year. So hopefully we'll have 3 active operating Firewise communities, which I expect to grow into larger communities. There's VLUs actually moved the equipment onto the new utility vehicle 8205, which is now operational with lights and radio, I understand. And we had 1 PPR class with Green Diamond, about 10 students last month. The Bird Foundation actually did approve moving some money from the slide-in pump over to installing the lights and stuff on the 8205, which worked out well. We got a gift card from Harbor Freight We put some stuff on in 205. We just got another $100 gift card from Harbor Freight, which we do some more stuff with. So they really contributed real well. And we're still waiting for the green dining grant for the nozzles. Again, the awards dinner, April 7th of 2026 this year. It's at David Country Club. More to come on the details, the scheduling, stuff like that. We'll be asking for RSVPs probably in the February, early March, get the actual numbers. That's it.
Thank you. That'll take us to closed session. At any time during the regular session, the board may adjourn to closed session to consider existing or anticipated litigation, liability claims, real property negotiations, license and permit determinations, threats to security, public employee appointments, personnel matters, evaluations and discipline, labor negotiations, or to discuss with legal counsel matters within the attorney-client privilege. Today, we have two closed session items. It's a conference with labor negotiators for the employee organization of senior management. And then we also have a conference with labor negotiators for agency designated representatives with our district council for the employee organization, which is our local 4981. So we'll adjourn to closed session and be back a little bit.
5.
It's cold. Where did they come from?
From Chloe, she's 8 years old and she stopped by the McKinleyville station to drop it off for us.
Very good.
Yeah.
This is, we online. This is amazing.
Alrighty, so we're back from closed session and our report out is that we gave direction to council. Alrighty. So that'll take us to the consent calendar. Consent calendar items are considered routine and are acted upon by the board with a single action. Members of the audience wishing to provide public input may request that the board remove an item from the consent calendar. Comments may be limited to 3 minutes. Is there any board member or public member that would like a specific item removed from the consent calendar? Seeing that there is none, is there a motion to accept the consent calendar?
I have one question. I'm sorry. Looking at my notes. And I'm not asking to pull it, I just have a question on the wait, is that district business? Maybe it's district business, I'm sorry. Is the rental thing, is that district business, or is that consent?
Consent, that's on consent.
That's on consent, okay, I got you. On page, so that's number, on the number 9, the insurance requirements. It says that unless waived in writing by the fire chief, user shall provide evidence of commercial general liability insurance with limits not less than $1 million per occurrence and $2 million aggregate. I don't understand. I'm saying, what circumstances would the fire chief waive evidence of general liability insurance?
I honestly don't, it's waiving,
It could be like, sorry.
no,
Oh, it could be like if a partnering agency, if we're holding a meeting here and the fire chief decides to waive the insurance requirements. Typically, it's not recommended, obviously, you know.
Right.
yeah.
But
And we did go back and find that the authority to do that was in ordinance 19-18 from a few years back. And it did give the authority to the board from the fire chief to do that.
Yeah, that's how I surmise that too, but okay, so I'd like to pull that item and have a discussion. That's okay. A brief one, I promise.
are you making a motion?
Okay, that was waiting. Yes, I move that we approve the consent calendar minus item 5.
Director Maynard,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Mendoza,
Yes.
Director Lavenslider,
Yes.
and Director O'Connor.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Okay, are we ready to talk about item 5?
Yeah.
I agree with that, but I think that, I think that that's just too vague for me. I'd like to have some clarity on that. Maybe it should be that, unless waived in writing by the fire chief, or something where the fire chief can waive in writing, another government agency that with comparable, insurance or something along those lines, maybe have,
We could just take out that clause if that's something we want.
that'd be nice, yeah, because that's just so open to, I'm always, and we talked about it the last time, and is that, I think that we should be open to other government agencies. I know that, other government agencies open their buildings up, for us, especially when the same taxpayers are paying for it. For instance, we've used the city council chambers, and if the city wants to use another meeting place, the same folks are paying for it. So I think it should be open if the chief feels that it's appropriate. But just having it open-ended like that, it's just too vague for me. So, okay, so I'll make a motion to approve item number 5 with omitting the first 3 lines of item number 9.
We have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion.
Director Maynard,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Dr. Mendoza.
Yeah.
Director Lavender,
Yes.
and Director O'Connor.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
All right, that takes us to district business. We have 3 items tonight to cover. We have the draft training and mentoring policy, review and discussion, consider adoption of resolution 25-340, establishing long-term goals for staffing stations, equipment, and training facilities, and then government relations. We'll kick it off with district business item number 1.
Okay.
Staff report.
So this stems from one of the annual goals that was set by the board for the fire chief. So what this is the Arcata Fire District places a strong emphasis on employee safety, professional development, and operational readiness. As the organization continues to evolve, staff have identified the need for a formal standardized policy governing training, mentoring, and professional development activities across all classifications. The attached draft training mentoring policy establishes clear definitions, roles, and responsibilities for employees, supervisors, mentors, and the training officer, and the fire chief. It also outlines processes for mentoring, assignments, position task books, documentation, and qualification for acting or out-of-class assignments. The policy is intended to promote consistency, transparency, and equity while aligning with applicable regulations, district policies, and collective bargaining agreements. This draft policy is intended to serve as a foundational framework for training and mentoring within the district's key elements, including standardized guidance for training, mentoring activities, defined responsibilities for management, mentors, and employees, clear processes for acting or higher level assignments, documentation and record keeping requirements, and annual review and revision provisions. Because this policy may affect working conditions, professional development pathways, and operational assignments, it's appropriate for the draft to undergo review by our collaborative policy review committee. This process will allow labor and management representatives to collaboratively review the policy, identify concerns, and recommend refinements before the policy is brought back to the board for formal adoption. Our recommendation is to review the provided draft policy, take public comment, discuss, and direct staff. At this stage, we're seeking board acknowledgement of the draft and confirmation to proceed with the collaborative review process. Don't need to adopt it as of tonight. We just want direction to continue to move forward.
Do you have any questions or comments from the directors?
I just have a brief question. Who is on the policy review committee? Who makes that up?
Myself, President Willard, Tony, and Harley.
Okay, good. So my staff is involved then.
Yeah.
Of course.
Any other questions or comments? Is there any public comment for this item? Seeing if there is none. I'm taking action on this. No, okay. We'll move on.
Do you need any direction?
That's like, just, we continue moving forward with the
Yeah.
policy review committee, unless told otherwise.
That'll take us to direct business item number 2, consider adoption of resolution 25-340, establishing long-term goals for staffing, stations, equipment, and training facilities. Chief?
Okay, so this was brought to the board last month and generated a really good discussion. And the board's direction was to revise and bring it back again this month and discuss it more specific to our long-term goals for staffing stations and equipment. In 2024-25, the Arcata Fire District participated in a comprehensive community risk assessment standards of cover study conducted by AP Triton. The study evaluates community risk, service demand, and operational capacity, and benchmarks district performance against national standards, including NFPA, ISO, and CPSE CFAI guidance. The CRA SOC includes a critical tasking analysis that identifies the minimum number of firefighters referred to as the effective response force required to safely and effectively mitigate structure fires. The ERF requirements increase significantly based on the occupancy type, building size, and life hazard. They are designed to ensure simultaneous performance of command, fire attack, search and rescue, ventilation, water supply, rapid intervention, and medical support. The July 25 CRA SOC report identifies several significant challenges facing the district, including increasing call volume, population density, university expansion, aging infrastructure, and staffing levels below nationally recommended standards. These factors reduce the district's ability to meet response time and ERF benchmarks, particularly for moderate to high-risk structural fires. The report further identifies critical infrastructure needs, including the modernization of the Mad River Station, the replacement of aging apparatus, and the development of a dedicated training facility. These operational needs are accounted by long-term fiscal uncertainty associated with the scheduled 2030 expiration of Measure F, identified as a significant revenue risk. The findings, we can go through those. I'll just hit the bullet points. Structural fire staffing requirements were significant needs. The CRA SOC identifies the following benchmarks for low risk needing 15 firefighters, moderate risk, 15 firefighters minimum, and high risk is 25. And finding this, basically what these findings are, it's showing we're well below what the staffing needs are. And then maximum risk, we need 38 firefighters, and we're well below that. Our staffing and deployment implications, we deploy 6 firefighters across 3 engines, sufficient only for limited low-risk incidents. The district does not meet the NFPA ERF standards for moderate, high, or maximum risk occupancies. Increased density, student housing growth, and mixed-use development heighten the likelihood of higher risk incidents. Our strategic risk considerations and insufficient staffing requires critical fireground tasks to be performed sequentially rather than concurrently, increasing civilian risk, fire spread, property loss, and firefighter injury exposure. The SOC concludes that the district's current staffing model is inadequate for structural fire risk beyond basic EMS incidents, even with mutual aid. Our facilities, training and apparatus, we have 3 stations, are essential for our baseline service delivery. Long-term growth will require planning for a 4th station. The Mad River Station currently requires modernization, seismic improvements, and functional upgrades. Several frontline apparatus are in poor condition and are addressed in the capital improvement plan. The district lacks a dedicated compliant training facility necessary to meet NFPA and Cal OSHA standards. Recommendation is the staff recommends the board adopt resolution 25-340, establishing long-term goals for staffing, station distribution, and training facilities. Also direct the fire chief to return with a phased implementation and fiscal strategy, including progression toward 4-person engine staffing, incremental staffing increases aligned with 15, 25, and 38 firefighter ERF benchmarks, and station modernization, long-term planning for a 4th station, and development of a district owned training facility location.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Do you have any director comments or questions?
Thank you. I like this direction that we're going in. I feel like we need, that this is gonna take more than one meeting. I think that we need to have a discussion with our community on this. And, I have a question for Roy. What do you think about activating the Friends of Arcata Fire again? Do you think that would be what would you think about that? Because they became a pretty powerful group for us.
I have all their emails and I have the Facebook still available, and so it's still open. Hasn't been touched in a while. So we can read it, we can initiate, I can send out notices to everybody, just see if people are interested. But if for some kind of a forum to talk about the kind of stuff, so I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that, you know, we've had the fires statewide. You know, the state is Cal Fires is a different fire department than it was 2 years ago, for instance, based on, you know, what is, you know, a lot of major fires, and we've had the major fires here. We have state partners that we are in state facilities, a lot of millions of dollars of state facilities that we are protecting as well. I'd like to have a ongoing conversation with our state partners as well as our community. I think that, and I don't know how many people, Ross was here, a couple of us were here during the Measure F, and we really got a very highly motivated group of Friends of Arcata Fire. Roy was the lead on that. That they were a huge help because we had that community connection, that community involvement, and I've been thinking about that for because we definitely need to put out another initiative here, but we need to do that thoughtfully. And I think that maybe if we have our Friends of Arcata Fire, we start getting our collaboration with our community. I think that we can, I've always felt that when people are informed, they always make the right decision. And part of our problem with this fire district is we're the Arcata Fire District that has that protects the, 4 other communities besides Arcata Fire. So that's one of the things that the Friends of Arcata Fire can help, is we can have people from McKinleyville, Jacoby Creek, and Manila, and Bayside, all part of that, and they're connected with their neighbors and friends, and it's getting that knowledge out there and that good information, and I think we can solve some of our problems together. I think we need them. I don't think there's a little more we can do it alone. So.
I might have to rename it. It's Friends of Measure F, but.
Yeah, that's just what it was
That's an
named.
easy change.
That's what it was. Well, we won't know what the measure is until.
Right.
If we do a measure that the county, you can ask for if it's available, the county assigns it, but that is what it was named before, as Friends of Measure F.
I don't think we can easily.
Or no, Friends of Arcata Fire, but yeah.
Measure F is the Facebook account. I know that, yeah, so we can, I don't know if we would have to establish a new one or if we can rename it. I would have to look into the legality of that, but that's something that we can easily do.
So maybe make that an agenda item, or we could continue this, or maybe it's still part of the same thing. But to me, this is a big piece, and I think this is an important piece.
I don't know how to transfer it because when I did all the Facebook stuff. So. It might be mildly complicated, but we'll look into that. Yeah.
It's an important piece for our district, I think, and I'd like to spend some time on it, especially with our community partners and because we've been having these discussions just with ourselves, we need to broaden our discussions. So I like what you wrote up, but I'd like to, we need to find a way to explain to the community how Measure F, for instance, just to start out, Measure F was proposed before we knew about the university's Cal Poly transformation, which is almost $500 million into the community. We didn't know about that when we did Measure F. And also we have major building in McKinleyville that we didn't really know about with Measure F. And of course, the city of Arcata's gateway. There's a lot of building. We didn't know about that when we put together Measure F. So I think we need the community's help in helping us guide the district as we go forward.
I think one of the really important things to point out about Measure F is that it was replacement funding too. It wasn't all brand new funding. It was to replace funding that we had
Right.
lost and hadn't
Right.
been able to replace timely enough, which is why we had the rolling blackouts for the stations. But most of that money was replacement financing. It wasn't all new money to grow and expand.
Yep. And there was a fear. We were fearful too, because we were just fearful to ask for too much because we had lost Measure A before that. And that was devastating. And we clearly didn't ask for enough because we're 6 firefighters to cover 65 communities and 62 square miles is not enough.
I have one comment and a couple of questions. The second recommendation here under the staff note is direct the fire chief to return with a phased implementation fiscal strategy. What time frame can think that be accomplished in, and what kind of resources? And you don't have to answer this right this second, but we need to know a time frame, and the sooner the better. And particularly the fiscal aspects of it, from my point of view. One of my disappointments is that we're actually on the fourth year anniversary of when we wrote the first letter to the city. And it'd be nice if we could get some traction and really move forward with some things. One comment is that I would like long-term removed from the resolution. It's not necessarily from the staff note, but it should be our goal, our priorities, establishing priorities, not long-term, in my view. I mean, these, like our staffing goals, we already have a 6 and 7-story building. So for me, to portray to the community that, we can do this in 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, and that's cool, and that'll be fine. These are our goals now. And I think that this resolution is something that's coming from the board. The board has established this. You've told us this. We've had the CRA done. And the board is making a decision to recommend to the community that we need to have these levels of support to deal with potential emergency. It's not somewhere in the future. It's what we need to be planning for now. A comment, and this goes to challenge of redoing a benefit assessment and redoing Measure F and additional staffing requirements. And I think both in the planning documents and what we put out needs to separate out for the community that the existing built environment is not going to be asked to pay for more than what's required to deal with the particular building types. So, and I'm perfectly comfortable that we would ask for cost of living increases to put 3 people on an engine for single family homes, so that we can put 15 people on fire. I don't think that owners of 1,000 square foot homes in Sunnybray should have to dig into their pockets to provide additional 20 staff members, but to cover the campus building. I think the state needs to be taking care of that, and that needs to be part of the conversation. One other question, this has always bothered me the whole time I've been here, and it's a concern of mine. I can really see how we can achieve the 25 people for the garden style apartments and some bigger mid-sized commercial facilities by putting 4 people on engines and getting a port station and having a truck. That with a little bit of auto aid will get us to those levels of personnel. To get 30 people or 35 people I'm in a timely manner, and you're the experts in terms of how quickly the personnel needs to get to the dorms or the facility we're going to have in McKinleyville or the Sorrel Place. But I'm stuck in my own head about how we would ever get 38 people to the dorms in 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And so any illumination that you can make on that. And once again, you have to do it from where you're sitting now. But that's something that I've thought a lot about. But the community needs to know. And, you know, we had a recent event last week. And as we said in the note that some people didn't show up till 3 hours later. And I think those folks coming and helping relieve the firefighters that are in place and helping keep the fires spreading to other buildings is absolutely essential and needs to be appreciated. But I'm not sure that would be helpful in getting several hundred people out of the dorms in the 15 or 20 minutes that we have to do that before they succumb to smoke. And if I'm misunderstanding the time constraints, please help me out.
Can I just comment on what you said just briefly?
Sure.
It's something that came up in discussions after our big Friday fire, and I just think that we need to say this to our community, is that we cannot staff a fire department that can be ready for that fire that we had on Friday. That was a major event. But currently, we are not staffed adequately for a standard size residential home fire. So that, I think, is what we need to clarify when we're talking to our community, is that, yes, because I had a citizen approach me on that. Well, we can't afford this. Well, that's not what we're heading here. We want to have the minimum staffing so that at least we can handle a residential house fire or a small business fire so that we can get assets coming from other areas to back us up if it's bigger than that. But we currently don't have that. You can't do a 1,000 square foot house fire with 6 firefighters. That's just not enough. And so that I think we need to keep that in our conversation, because I think some people just throw up their hands and say, well, we can't afford that. There's no way we can afford to staff up for a plaza fire. And that's not what we're talking about.
there any other comments or questions from the board? Is there any public comment at this time?
As always, appreciate all the effort that you guys put into all this. Thank you.
Can we keep this for another meeting and have, I'd like to just have another discussion.
I was just gonna ask if, the board would consider just directing break back with additional revisions and
Gives us more time to think about it. It would be nice if Jack could let the community know we really want to hear from them and we would love for them to come and be a part of that discussion. Good question.
Chris, that fire on Friday, would that fall into the high-risk structural fire? And that requires 25 firefighters to be there. Can you just estimate how long it took to get 25 firefighters to that fire on Friday? Just ballpark?
fixed originally from us, well, now you're going by 19, so it's had, we got 13th of Monday, May, which took probably 40 minutes total. 40 to 45 minutes. So that's 13, and it was 22, plus we were looking at,
The lake was on the initial, Facebook. Yeah.
so we were probably, I bet to get all of those, that 25, I don't know, we would have to go back and look at the radio records, but I'm guesstimating, so don't hold me to
Yeah,
that.
no, it's a number that I just wanted to know.
And for that one, almost they gave us more than they would normally. They gave us 2 trucks and an engine, so.
That
a
was
lot
the other
more than
thing.
we
They
were
had to do a full recall as well to staff that and keep their area covered. And we didn't have resources until later on when we were able to send, I think it was Neyland and West Haven to cover.
And Chief, I believe they ran an extrication while they were here, they ran an extrication in Eureka.
Who, Eureka?
Humboldt baited, yeah, so they had a significant event going on in their own town.
And I do know that Lolita, while they were responding, I believe it was Lolita, somebody responding through the Tompkins Hill area also stopped for a traffic collision while they were responding to us. So it is, believe me, multiple agencies were calling. We're like, hey, we're all willing to help, but we need our resources back as well. So,
And West Haven and Neyland ran 5 calls while everybody was tied up on the fire, so.
Thank you.
Along that line, we received a very nice letter from down in LA, from a council member, I think it was in our packet. It may be good to have the board or president write a letter to all the agencies and thank them from the board.
Yeah. And hopefully we won't, thanks to the incident command system, you probably have a good list of who is here.
we do.
Is there anything specific about the age of the buildings in the plaza area? Like, I think I read that particular building was 124 years old. Are those things that overly complicate our experience as well?
So it's interesting with the old buildings like that. So yes, short answer, yes. One, they're packed in tight. 2, they've been remodeled multiple times. But the full dimension lumber that's built in that makes them very strong shear strength. But it also creates a situation where when it's a failure, it's a catastrophic failure. So maybe for an earthquake, those buildings will withstand, but the fire that follows becomes a big issue for us then, obviously. But yeah, the concealed spaces, the balloon construction, just, you have a 100-year-old building and it's been chopped up many times, just because that's what happens. And that creates void spaces for fire to travel, which is exactly what happened in this case. Within minutes, it was going from the 10th Street side to the other end of the H Street side, and that was through the void places.
And that was similar to what happened on the plaza because the fire started in the Big Blue and then it spread because
Concealed spaces.
it didn't go all the way down to the crawl space and so a lot of the smoke damage and other things that expanded on the larger plaza fire from several years ago was due to that as well,
And
right?
that's very common in our area, other areas that have old sections of town.
So do you want to kicking it back to you then? This particular thing, okay?
Just to clarify, what was the direction from the board?
We're gonna kick it back, in order to make a couple revisions and, also to bring it back for discussion next month.
And just so I'm clear, removal of the timeframe, long-term timeframe.
Removing of the phrasing long-term in regards to it being a current goal. Clearly, what you're looking.
Right.
Okay. All right, that'll bring us into district business item number 3, which is government relations.
Sure. This was one that originated in February 2025 at the directors meeting. Board requested to place a government relations item on future agendas to allow for discussion of ongoing items. There's no action needed, but it's a placeholder to allow for discussion.
Are there any comments or questions from the directors?
Could you brief us on the conversations that are going on with the city and Cal Poly?
So, well, quite frankly, over the holiday month, not much happened because everybody was busy and gone. So we do have, I think, next week, is it next week? We have a collaboration.
Yep.
Collaboration meeting. Yeah, so we have a collaboration meeting scheduled next week. We also have, was there something national? Wednesday, we received a draft for the engineering study for the benefit assessment, so we will meet with them. What other things did we have coming up?
And then SCI for the impact fee study, we'll be meeting with them, not next week,
The following week for the development impact fee report is coming back in.
And will we be able to see perhaps before the final, that would?
As soon as we get a peek at it, kind of give initial direction from what you guys have already given us, make sure that draft looks good, we'll pull the finance committee in to review
Okay.
that.
Are there any other comments or questions from the board? Okay. Is there any public comment? None. That will take us on to correspondence and communications. Public correspondence. We got a holiday card from Providence St. Joe's Emergency Department. And we also have a lovely hand-drawn piece from Chloe. Very excellent. I like the labeling on that. So thank you, Chloe, for that. Yeah, the connection is very good. All right, so that is our correspondence for the month, and that'll take us to committee reports. We'll kick it off with our ABFA 4981 AFPD Relations Committee. Not sure they made it. Yes.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report.
President Johnson, may I ask
Okay.
if, do we want to add an additional person to that, or what our direction is with that committee if we have something?
Or do we need it?
Do we need it?
Yeah, what are we resolving?
We could probably, I mean, are you?
So
It
if
hasn't been utilized
that's not
in,
Not long.
well, yeah, a year, so,
So should we
I don't
move,
see,
move to dissolve that
I think that would probably be a
committee? Okay,
good thing.
all right.
we can add it to next month's agenda and then dissolve it then.
Sounds good. Our next committee is the budget committee. That's here for myself. We don't have anything to report out, right?
Correct.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I wasn't overlooking anything. And then we have our government relations ad hoc committee. Did you guys have anything?
No,
No? Okay. And that's the end of our committees, and that'll bring us to our fire chief's monthly report.
Okay, so let's see, attended the Board of Supervisors meeting for the presentation of the Humboldt County Fire Chief's annual report. Chiefs from North County, Central County, and South County were present to answer questions and provide information. Attended, we have new chief of police, if everyone wasn't aware, Arcata Police Chief Chris Ortega attended that. That was nice, maintaining the relationship with the police department. Assigned representation at the county operational area meeting. That was, Wayne, you attended that one, correct? And was there anything earth shattering that came out of it?
Nothing.
Okay. And continue to attend the directors meetings, the month, weekly meetings throughout the month. And that's relative to what the council agenda items are, and if there's anything that impacts us, which we will be presenting a year in review. I believe it's the February 4th council meeting. I'll be presenting the fire district year in review to the council on that. And then also tomorrow, just for short notice, but tomorrow at 8 a.m., the Arcata City Council will be ratifying the declaration, emergency declaration for the incident from last week. And I'll be attending and addressing the fire issues. And then City Manager Perry and Chief of Police will be addressing any of the environmental and cleanup issues.
Where's that?
Sorry, council chambers at City Hall. We attended with the fall commencement and provided one engine for standby, and that was a billable service. I met with Chief Citro from Humboldt Bay, and we discussed area agency challenges that we both face, including timberland issues within LAFCO regarding tax rates. LAFCO's looking at the issue legislatively. Timber industry is pushing back on whether or not they have to pay or not.
Is it both of them or just the one?
Well, it's any timber. Well, right now it's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just the one, but it's going to be contagious. So, obviously it was the holidays and we had multiple Santa events throughout the district we attended and participated in. And then all three chiefs and President Lillard attended the City of Arcata, Cal Poly Humboldt, Arcata Fire Working Group on December 18th. The main discussion was centered on attendance and awareness of each agency's ongoing issues. We'll continue with regular meetings. Second meeting was postponed due to the holidays. And actually the next meeting was also postponed because it was on New Year's Day. But we're resuming those next week. Chief Peabody wants to cover his administrative and planning. Anything in that?
The report is there. I'll be happy to answer any questions. No major changes from last year or from last month, just due to the fact that we're in Christmas time, but we're firing back up again. And really, the biggest issue that we worked on this last month was just closing out all of the grants. Rob did a heck of a good job and got a pile of grants, so we're just closing the loop on a lot of those right now. And that's the big move last month. And he's off to New Mexico now, so. But grant season's about to fire back up and the list of wants and needs are firing back up on the board again.
If we could have Ross, you want Assistant Chief McDonald, he can touch on his operations and training report and answer any questions.
The training wise, the state fire class for the instructor series started up in December, and is continuing in January, and the investigation series started up in, is starting now in January. We had 24 hours of active duty officer hours and 120 hours of acting company officer hours. Incident wise, we've only had a few major incidents, few traffic accidents, chemical spill, and a slash pile in the middle of winter up on Neyland. And then the totals for the year to date are our highest since pre-COVID, and we're actually 20 incidents above our pre-COVID numbers. It was the busiest year ever. December was 328 calls, most of which were in the city of Arcata. We gave stayed 3 times. We had about 28% overlapping, and due to long response times are within 5 minutes range, dropped down to the 60s, but we had a lot of on the fringe of the district calls, so that's gonna drop us down. Couple engines went through for their annuals, and then our social media for the year, or for December. We did posts on the communities we served, then holiday safety, including the tree and decoration safety, your Christmas gifts and heater safety, Hanukkah safety, holiday cooking safety, and then we did a New Year's celebration safety. As Chief said, we've delivered Santa across the district, and the local did the Toys for Tots toy drive.
Just to add into the social media, it's being received quite well. Comments we're hearing are really good from the community, and there are blooper reels.
I'm not gonna put those up.
No. Oh, gosh. Yeah, so you can see that our, each time we would post, I gotta give Annalie credit. She's been like on it. Anytime we send something to her, she has it posted for us. And, as you can see, the fire marshal's office, he's been pretty active. I know he told me the other day that a bunch of building plans came in. And, so he's gonna be busy. He was gearing up for that, expecting it, because just before a fire code changes and they add new fire or legislation and issues to it, there's usually a rush to get plans in. So he's been very busy in our new inspector. He's actually attending the investigation course right now. And so we'll be helping him develop as an investigator when he completes that. I would like to ask, and sorry to put you on the spot, but how's your BCLA going?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, today was a portion on group dynamics. So we had a guest lecturer, Berkay Brown, come in and talk, very dynamic speaker. A lot of it is similar to what the National Fire Academy teaches. So it's, I've gone through that leadership program and now going through this local one. So it's nice to just have a refresher on some of the items discussed. But it's the part that I'm really enjoying about this versus the National Fire Academy is that being in a class with all people that you would work with, whether it's Fortuna, Arcata, Eureka, Public Works, Finance, law enforcement. There's a Parks and Rec, there's zoo folks there. So there's a vast group of people there that I'm getting a chance to learn from and different job avenues, which is a lot of fun. So get a chance to know the local people really well. A lot of personalities. We're on, I think it's once a month. And so we're on session 4. So it's all the personalities are starting to come out now. We're starting to dive. So certainly fun activities.
Certainly worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's our report.
Do any of the directors have any comments or topics they would like to discuss at this time?
I'll just take a minute to say, I'm gonna try and get everybody, I think I may miss one or two, but, regarding the fire that we had the other day, first of all, thank you to all of our staff. Also thank you to Arcata Police, University Police, Clay Fire, Fortuna Fire, Philbrook Fire, Needham Fire, West Haven Fire, Rio Dell Fire, and Cal Fire. I think I got everybody. So just say, no, I missed some.
So our staff, Humboldt Bay, Philbrook, Blue Lake, West Haven, Samoa, Neelan, Lolita, Ferndale, Fortuna, Rio and Cal Fire, Trinidad, and Cal Fire.
Just thank you to all those agencies that responded to assist.
And we want to add into that, working with City Manager Merritt Perry and the Environmental Services and the Building Department, Public Works from City of Arcata were amazing. They took a workload off of all of us. Police Department, as far as getting barricades out, fencing out, and I mean, that's just something that took it off our plate. And I think all of these guys can vouch that. What do we always say in our after actions? Well, what could have improved was communication. Well, you know, with the outside agencies we worked with, this is actually one of the better ones I've seen, better instances I've seen as far as communication. And then the outpouring from the community has been huge. you know, everybody's focus is on the cleanup and restoration of, or recovery of the area too. So, but the comments just from the public have been amazing. And not just towards us, but in general about how they want to pull together as a community and recover from this thing.
Didn't mention the VLU.
And, oh, absolutely. VLU,
Sorry, Roy.
you know what, because they showed up, I have to go on a better diet now. They kept us fed, hydrated. The American Red Cross, they were great. We had significant concern about some folks that were displaced and getting them rehoused, and the Red Cross set that up. But our VLU folks were there. They were there for the duration of the evening and even willing to spend the night there and watch, to stay on the scene. So, yeah, thank you. That was, and then, because we were kind of limited on resources, I was able to use retired Fire Chief Dave White as our initial PIM.
I watched it for a while. So you're working in front of the theater, loading bottles. I kept out of the way. I read my manual. Stay back. That's what I did.
Spoke bad.
I will say the county folks that came out too, and state OES, have gotten the ball rolling for the recovery part. And, quite frankly, some of the environmental issues that stem from the incident and the runoff, are, you know, obviously they're very concerning in environmental health. They came out and so we got the ball rolling.
So I was there fairly early because I was on my way to the post office and I couldn't get to the post office. But I also stayed out of the way. Well, the fact that I stayed out of the way, I still smelled like smoke when I got home. But it was a humbling experience because these firefighters put everything they had in it. You know, I walked around and I thought, you know, what should a director do? And I thought, well, a director should just kind of kind of mingle with the crowds and see what the citizens are feeling, what they're saying, what their questions are that come up. And I had some of those conversations as well. But one thing that really struck me is, and I took pictures of it. At 2:58, I saw 3 firefighters on top of a building, and and I heard the evacuation horn, the 3 horns, and they got off. And at 3:01, 2:58 to 3:01, at 3:01, that building was completely engulfed with thick black smoke that's probably 20 or 30 feet tall. And flames maybe 10 plus 20 feet tall had overtaken it. Those 3 firefighters got off that building. Basically, a minute later, it would have been too late. And this is what they do. This is what you all do. And it's really humbling when I see those things. And I just kept taking pictures of it. And I've looked at it several times because it's amazing. And I think that as a board, we want to do everything we can to support you. And we want to do everything we can to support that's why, you know, I really appreciate when we support other communities too. You know, we've sent apparatus to Los Angeles, to Sonoma County. That's super important because when we needed them, they came here. And so the message to the community is that, you know, we should be proud. We need to be proud of our firefighters. We need to be proud of our fire district and our neighboring fire agencies. They all came here, and it was amazing. And I don't know what else to say other than thank you.
I'm gonna put him on the spot. He's gonna turn red, but he never likes having attention drawn to him. But Ed Laidlaw was running around on scene and making things happen for us. It was just like, hey, can you get in touch with someone and get some excavators? Hey, can you get that truck out of the way? And he was making things happen that there was just nobody else that would go do things like that. They're all focused on fire. So those support roles were tremendous for us.
I will mirror the thank yous to all the first responders that showed up. We were out of town and we could only watch via social media, but it was heart wrenching. I know that it's been such an impact to our community here and for lots of businesses and people's homes and stuff, that it's sad, but I think everybody did a really great job of keeping it contained to what it was.
Yeah, watching it go up live as fast as it did and it being contained to a small amount of properties it was is pretty amazing. They did a great job.
I think that's all so far. All right, yeah, I think that's everything. So if I can have a motion to adjourn, our next scheduled board meeting will be February 12th, 2026, here at the Arcata Downtown Station at 5:30.
And that's a Thursday.
Thursday, yes. Everyone remember.
I'll move to adjourn.
I'll vote that we adjourn.
Thank you, guys.